Hello, welcome to Redmen TV. It's half time, live and uncensored, and once again it's our absolute pleasure to discuss a scintillating Liverpool first half performance, this time I say against Crystal Palace. If you haven't watched the build-up show, I'm joined by Chris Pager, Jack Hart and Graham Kelly to spend the next 15 minutes talking about that shite. Chris, it looks so promising.
I didn't see the fucking goal.
Chris and Graham went for a piss and missed the first goal. We've tried, just in case you're wondering, we've tried it again since and it hasn't worked, so it's obviously not exactly why.
We didn't go together though.
Oh yeah.
That's why.
And we didn't do down there what we did together.
I told you not to say that.
That brought us the look.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts. You can interact with the show in the comments alongside the video or by tweeting at the Redmen TV. We're particularly keen, and we'll come to your comments shortly, what you think Liverpool need to do in the second half to change things up and to get back on top in the game. Yeah. I mean, Jack, the thing is, I mean, you were here, you saw the goal, and it was a great goal. Ricky Lambert off the mark.
Yeah, and Adam Lallana in a deep position, pinging a lovely ball forward, good first touch, good finish.
Yeah.
Nice goal. And I was saying earlier on that we needed that turning point and a performance and a result. It felt like it could be the day. Yeah.
Alas, no.
Yeah, to be fair, obviously we were saying on the build-up show, Ricky Lambert's taken a lot of stick. Look, if he's gonna get in those positions, made a fantastic little run in behind, great first touch, great finish. That's good centre forward play. I mean, and Graham, we said this. That's what we were saying on the show, is that he's not shit, despite the fact that people have tried to make out. He is still a good centre forward.
Well, he had a couple of chances as well, half chances, and one that he made himself where he put the ball out wide, and then somehow he got into the box really quickly, and it was unlucky with the header.
I think it was downhill.
Yeah.
That's why he got there so quick.
Yeah, he didn't fall over though. He's been probably one of our better performers in the team, and he's put a shift in, if you like. It's just down to us again, and we said about it. I know you can't blame everything on luck, but he just seems so unlucky again. Hits the post, comes out to the player, Skirtle had stopped, and I just don't know what we do from here, apart from unless we've got Suarez on the bench or something.
Sadly not.
We've got Fabio Barini though.
We have got Torre Moreno, Lucas, Emre Can, Barini and Markovic on the bench, which isn't quite the same as Luis Suarez, but nevertheless. It's actually interesting because I thought, I was really impressed with Joe Allen's performance, and we saw his importance in two different aspects. First and foremost, when he gets the injury and he has to go off twice, how badly we missed him in the middle of the park, having someone who offers what he offers, and then once he's back on and he's now got his Ali G skull cap on, and what he was offering for us in an attacking sense as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, even going forward, he crossed the ball for Ricky Lambert, didn't he?
Yeah.
The chance that we were talking about before, but we were talking during the game, and Jack in particular was saying, look, if he shouldn't have been on the pitch at that point. If he's missing 7 minutes of the half and they've scored, what's going on there, like?
Off for a long time, you just can't. And what if he had to go off again, which he didn't, but you need to make those calls, don't you? And they did score when he was off the pitch. So
but I suppose, to be, I mean, yeah, obviously they have done that, but I think that what he's shown, Jack, since coming back onto the pitch, he's been possibly our brightest.
Oh yeah, I think he's been our best player. He does look like he's been snapped off something by his head to expose his inner non-painted bit or something, but no, he's been the best player. He always looks bright on the ball, doesn't he? He's got a good turn on him, he can pick a pass, keeps things simple but does it at a high tempo, and that's exactly what we need, really. He's like the player that should show how we play as a whole team.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know actually in the comments alongside the video if you're watching on YouTube what you've made of Joe Allen's performance so far. Have you been as impressed as we have, or are there still people who are still a little bit nonplussed at what he offers to Liverpool Football Club? Interestingly, okay, we discussed formation a lot in the build-up to the game, and it looked at times like we had actually opted to go with the diamond and that, which in an attacking sense I said looked bright from the start, but maybe we've seen the limitations of that formation as the game's gone on.
I think when we played the diamond, we're a lot easier to be got at, and you've seen that, every time Palace attack, they don't look like they could score, but they're getting joy and they're getting their shot off and they're getting people down the wings and things like that. So, it has its limitations for me. I know everyone raves about it because we're good going forward, but we're not great going forward. It's not like last season. I think we were spoilt last season with the fact that every time we went forward, we looked like we could score.
Yeah.
we don't now, but we still build up attacks and still build up play. In certain areas of the half, okay, we're dejected because they got the goal and it's 1-1 half time. There's certain little parts of play that look really good.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to say it again, but it comes down to confidence, and that goal will have knocked the confidence again. And God, they've got a 1-1 off a stuffy shot that hits the post, that comes back to their play, and they just feel like they're under the cosh.
That's the most frustrating thing. Once again, it's happened because time and time again this season. Look, he shouldn't be allowed to get the first shot off in the first place, and we've discussed this. I think the lack of Joe Allen on the pitch is a contributing factor to that. Whatever, he gets the shot off, it doesn't go in, which it probably deserves to because it's a good strike. It hits the post, and look, you can't fault Gale's endeavour for getting himself in the position, but it literally drops.
On his foot. It's right on his foot. It drops to, and then he hits a pretty crap shot, and it bounces off Mignolet and goes in But that's just what happens when you're in the type of rut that we're in at the moment. Is nothing ever seems to go your way, and it's not just like for goals and stuff. It's second balls. When our defenders do head it clear, it always seems to be dropping to the other man at the moment. And look, you can say you need to make your own luck, but stuff like that just fucking seems to be happening all the fucking time for us at the moment. I don't know how you change that. You can't. You just have to go out there and score goals so that they don't matter, those things.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. It is, like I say, it is so. They're just showing it back on Sky. Like, Mignolet's beating all that. It's just infuriating because, like I say, I think we were on top to that point as well. Whereas since that goal, Palace have looked by far the better side. Let's just quickly look at the stats and encourage the boys not to stare too much at the television screen off to the side. Come on, lads. Palace were 36.6% of possession, therefore 63.4% for Liverpool. Total shots 8-4, 3-1 on target, and that sums us up totally, I think, so far. One shot on target, one goal, boss. But we need to do a lot more. We're not
clinical, aren't we now?
Well, absolutely, yeah, deadly. But we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough in their half. We've seen one or two little flashes here and there, but it's, as I say, I think so much of it's down to the formation at the minute. We're far more concerned with what Palace are doing than they are with what we're trying to do, because as you said, they're getting it at us down the wings. Manquillo and Johnson are being forced back a lot more than we want them to be, and it's not working. I mean, again, you're watching at home. What would you do? Would you change things in a tactical sense? Would you switch the formation round? We've clearly made efforts. Allen's been forced wider, hasn't he, to try and combat that a bit, and I think that's working, Chris. That's one thing that you can say is having a positive impact, is having made that little change. But do we need to do more of that?
I think we do, and Evan Morris has got a good shout on Twitter, actually, at Mr. Evasion. We need to injure Balassi and Gale for starters.
Tip top, yeah.
Good tactical point of view there.
Wimbledon! Yeah, I think...
Get the whiteboard out, right. What we're going to do is just injure these two.
He just gets a twig and just goes, that's it. That's what we're doing.
Gotham rather drop Allen back, push Lallana forward and bring Khan on for Stevie.
Well, I was going to say, we were talking beforehand about, God, we've got Lallana, we've got Sterling, these attack and play, Coutinho, all, and it shows in the possession. We've got all this lovely little tippy-tappy possession, but there's nothing penetrating, because I don't think our forward... Oh, look at Lallana, look for the goal. He's dropped so far back to play that ball through. Yeah. And this is what's happening with us. We used to play, like last season, we were pressing so high up the pitch, we were getting people on the back foot, we were winning the ball back early up there, so we were so close to the goal, but now we're doing it all from a deeper route, and we haven't got anyone to link it together like a Khan or so. So I think that we've got to get our players that are talented, such as Lallana, Coutinho, Sterling, on the ball in their third. And we're not doing that at all.
You see that all the time, is when Lambert's been picking the ball up, or even when there's two forwards, there's 30 yards between the midfield and the attack. And the thing with Chan is he grabs the ball and he'll go 10 yards with the ball at his feet.
He'll push that. But that's where I get Agger. That's why I would never have let Agger go, because Agger used to get the ball and he was the only centre-half that can do it. None of our others can. And he'd push on 20 yards. Yeah. So that would make a player come out to him, give you space out wide or give you space in the midfield. But we don't have that anymore, and it's so important. Does it? But it's so vitally important to the way we set up, even more so now because we're so deep. And we're passing the ball to Sterling. Last year we were passing the ball to Sterling, he'd have to beat a man. passing it to him, he's got 3 or 4 men to beat, or he's got to do a little 1-2.
He's got us back to goal, and I think at the minute we were saying he looks out of form. You were saying this as well during the game, Chris. I think at the minute people have he's been figured out a little bit, because obviously people spend a lot more time researching him. There's a lot more work going into stopping him on the opposition from the opposition perspective. He needs to step up. He needs to come up with some new ideas himself. I think right now.
He had that when he first broke into the side, didn't he? He had that little golden patch where he came in, and then people started to know what his little sort of moves were and stuff like that. And then he went away, worked on it, and came back better. And unfortunately, he needs to do that now.
On the go.
On the go.
Yeah.
The thing I always associate his first period in the team, a couple of years back, with is playing on the inside left and cutting in and getting a shot away, and that's something we've never ever seen that since, really. It's completely gone from the team.
At the minute as well, like Coutinho has looked a lot better, I think, wide in the last few games. He's had a bit more space. He's looked great dropping the shoulder and coming inside and making things happen. He's playing a little bit too centrally at times. I don't quite know where Lallana's meant to be, because what we were saying in the build-up, wasn't it, that we wanted Lambert holding it up and getting those 3 in and around him.
Yeah, it's important to go past him.
It's not quite happened at the minute, but I think credit where it's due. I think Crystal Palace have performed very, very well.
I think they dropped the man into midfield, didn't they, after they conceded? And that's where they've made it a little bit more difficult for us. But, you know, you were talking about Coutinho there. He's been decent this season, but he's never really performed away from home. And that's something that kind of worries me at the moment, because he's been essentially a non-entity today, and Sterling's not really been involved in the game. It has been the deeper players, like we've been talking about Allen and stuff like that. Lambert's played all right, but it's how we get those attacking players on the ball, how we get them involved in the game, that's going to see if we can win the game.
Yeah, if you're going to make any changes, Graham, what would you
I'd probably go with what the tweet said. I'd like to see Allen brought back into central, get on the ball a bit more. You know, as Chris said, if we put Sterling out wide, because the fullbacks are having the run of the play, all their fullbacks. You know, get Sterling out wide onto the left. Maybe get Coutinho in a bit of space on the right. Bring Khan on for Gerrard.
Do you think that's liable to happen? Though?
No, but what I would do, you know, get Khan on, get him pushing on. Allen in the central midfield, and you know, keep Lallana between Khan and Lambert, and you know, get people cutting in. You continue.
But it's typical, this, isn't it, Jack? We've clamoured for 2 up top. We've clamoured for a diamond. We've seen it, and we've also seen exactly why Brendan Rodgers has used it sparingly this season to a certain extent, because there's pros and cons to everything, and there's probably, and we're here going, well, you should go to 4-3-3. I go, well, I got a second. You know what I mean? Brendan can't fucking win literally and figuratively at the minute.
Defensively against a side like Palace, I just think that the diamond leaves us a bit exposed because of their wide men, and the fact that then the fullbacks can do what they want, because we haven't really got Dirk out up there who's going to track back with whoever it is, even if they're not particularly dangerous fullbacks. Just the fact that they're the thing about the selection on the ball today, I'm not sure that, even despite the assist, I don't know if Lallana quite suits playing that deep within the diamond. I'd probably be tempted to switch a little bit, withdraw Allen deeper into the midfield and get Coutinho and Lallana close to each other in the inside left positions. Yeah. And because I think they'll bring out the best in each other.
Well, we're going to be heading back over to the match shortly, but Chris, have you got any more social media shouts you want to go through? Again, like I say, the substitutes went there. Torre, Moreno, Lucas, Cham, Barini, Markovic. I think the obvious one is, I say, Emre Can, or, to be honest, or even Lucas, just someone so we can stop worrying so much about what they're doing, and having a natural defensive midfielder in there who can help cover the fullbacks a little
Lucas
bit more.
played well in Madrid, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's and that's the sort of performance we need today, where, as you say, our attacking players can go and express themselves instead of us. It's like a kids' game at the moment where it's end to end, you know what I mean? But we're not. We feel we seem that we're a bit more worried about them than they are of us. Yeah.
I mean, let's hope we get it right for the second half. I think it's the fact of the matter is, it's 1-1. We're not out of it. We're not massively in control of it. But I think it's to some extent, Jack. We were saying we got to half time and it was kind of. We needed to get to half-time. Perfect time, regroup. Brendan Rodgers can reassess what needs to happen in the second half and come out better.
It felt a bit like the international break again, didn't it? Let's just have this bit of a break and then we'll come back a bit stronger. Yeah. No, we've got best part of 50 minutes now to push on and get a win out of this. So every reason to be optimistic.
Chris,
really.
There's just loads of shouts, really, apart from the obvious that we've mentioned. One of them is get Glenn Johnson off and bring Moreno on.
Some actual left-footed people on the left-hand side of the pitch.
Because our fullbacks do seem to be able to get forward. Moreno would offer a lot more than Johnson on that left-back area, but it's a bit of a dicey one for the second half.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Let us know your thoughts and let us know how you think the second half's going to go in the comments or by tweeting us at the Redmen TV. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to redmentv.com for full match analysis post-match as well. Cheers.